This video is about how the regrets of your parents became the invisible burden you carry and the exact, simple shift that can stop that burden from becoming your child's. You're not just sad or stuck, you're holding a handed-down pattern that repeats unless you act. Most people meet that pain with silence, blame, or avoidance, and then the same hurt shows up again in the next generation. But there's a different path, one honest conversation, one ritual of ownership, one daily habit that rewires the family story and frees your children. If you want to end regret as your legacy, I'll show you that step and how to use it today. This looks like normal life, but it's a system built on unspoken rules. You feel choices tugging at you that you can't name, and therefore guilt feels inherited. Most families teach coping, but they rarely teach repair. To see how this plays out, meet Maya in 2 sentences. She learned to hide errors, and therefore she learned silence as a survival skill. Her daughter then grew up assuming shame was the default, not a signal. You might think hiding keeps kids safe, but hiding teaches fear as a reflex. That is the hidden tax of inherited regret. Here is the practical pivot you can use tonight. Start with a tiny sentence. I inherited this regret, and I don't want it to be yours. Say it once, and therefore you change the framing from blame to ownership. Follow with a rule. In this house, we name mistakes and state one fix. Rules beat speeches because rules become habits. Do this at a single dinner for 30 days and watch the tone shift. You'll notice mistakes shrink, and therefore your kids practice repair instead of hiding. A common trap is confession without change, which soothes ego but preserves the loop. You must pair story with a living rule and a one-line habit. When the old shame rises, name it. This feels like inherited fear. I'm choosing differently. That interrupt is tiny, but it rewires decisions over time. You might ask if this fixes deep trauma. It doesn't erase scars, but it stops scars from becoming roadmaps for the next generation. Because inheritance is not just genes, it's how we interpret pain. Change the interpretation, and therefore you change the future. Think of regret like a song on repeat. If no one rewrites the lyrics, the next singer inherits the tune. Because habits are songs, a new chorus rewrites what children hum without thought. This is why tiny public rituals matter more than private promises. When you model repair, you give kids the vocabulary to fix their own mistakes later. Repair is contagious when it's practiced, and therefore third-generation healing becomes possible. This work is not about blame. It's about designing a household that trains courage over secrecy. You don't need to be perfect to start. You only need to be consistent. Begin with one line tonight and a one-rule pact, and therefore you begin to shift history. Repeat it enough, and your family will inherit resilience instead of regret. Last dab. The bravest legacy is not perfect parents, but small, repeated rules that free the next generation. If you want a simple 30-day checklist, it's free below Start Tonight and make regret a chapter, not the inheritance.